You might have seen some pictures on social media or magazines of people meditating cross-legged on a rock somewhere in nature, and you're thinking, "Ah, that must be so amazing." Well, not exactly. Not sustainable, not comfortable. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some tips and principles that can support a sitting meditation on the floor using different props that can support proper posture. This is Dr. Al-Mashat, registered psychologist and mindfulness teacher. I want to share with you 3 different positions in which you can practice meditation on the floor. One of them is going to involve using benches and a different variety, and the second one involves cushions, and also the third one, which is actually not a cross-legged option. So you may see here now, this is the typical posture you may see in sitting practice, cross-legged, but this is only one of the 3 options I'll be sharing. And please do keep in mind that not all of us grew up sitting on the floor. I traveled in Southeast Asia, and I was just amazed to see how so many people take the squatting position as a way to rest, waiting for the bus or something. And for me, I mean, I'm on a tiny little stool, and this is as far as I can go. There's no way I can squat to rest. 2 minutes into it, I need someone to lift me up. So just keeping in mind that being gentle with your body, and this is why I wanted to share the options. I've actually struggled with sitting on the floor for a long time since I began practicing in the early 2000s and looking at different options and what can be better for my body. So I want to share all of that with you and hope it can support you. The other thing to keep in mind, if sitting on the floor is not accessible for your body on a particular day, you can meditate on a chair. There's a link to a video for how to meditate on a chair. And I found that since teaching mindfulness in 2010, most of the people who've completed my mindfulness program have meditated on a chair. It's very effective and appropriate. So please do consider that as an option. It's really not that necessary to be on the floor if your body doesn't want that, but it's something to explore if you're willing. Okay, let's begin by exploring what can be supportive. First of all is placing some cushioning between your legs and the floor. Carpet alone is not enough. It might be okay first 5 minutes, but after that, it's going to be causing unnecessary suffering. And meditation on its own requires working with the wandering mind and distractions and emotions and all the different things that show up in our mind and heart and all a range of experiences. So we don't want to be adding this unnecessary burden of pain that's really can be avoided. So that's why these options will be exploring how to reduce the discomfort so we can just focus on the practice itself. One thing you can consider is getting some kind of cushioning. This one is called a zabuton. And a zabuton basically is just a square cushion. I want to share with you this. When I completed my 6-month silent retreat in Southeast Asia, monks would come in the meditation hall and the forest monastery that I was at, and that's all they used. That's it. This, whoop, on hardwood floor, sitting cross-legged. I'm like, that's not for me. Thank you very much. So they did have options for visitors to be using something like this, and that's very appropriate. So how can you use this? And I'm just going to be using this because I like the colors, and I bought it myself from Myanmar from my trip there. So, okay, here it is. Now what to do? Let's explore bench as an option. Benches come in different heights. I encourage you to explore the options for you. Some of them fold, like this one folds for traveling. Others don't fold, like this one over here. Can't fold it, so it's kind of hard to travel with this. Some you can pull out, like this one. Some have a curve, others come with cushioning, actually mixed and match. This cushion belongs to this bench, but I put it on here. So you can mix and match the different cushioning. What's important in a bench, unlike this one's flat. It's gonna not really be supported for creating a downward incline. Let's explore this as an option here. Some benches, and the easiest way to get into a bench is to be on your shin and then grab a bench, place it behind you. This style is the legs of the bench are between my feet. This style of the bench, it's on the outside. So you can see the legs of the bench are on the outside of my feet. It's just different styles. This is too low for me. I already feel discomfort in my knees. So if you experiment with one, you may need a higher one, or placing some blankets, creating layers and layers, lifting it. That might be helpful. I'm using this one to demonstrate. Okay, now that I've found the right height for me and the right cushioning, you can experiment with where you place your toes. Maybe my toes, you can see they're touching just the floor. This I find helpful as it relieves discomfort on the ankles. If I go right to the center, like this, it ends up pulling a little bit on my ankle. So if you have any ankle strain or discomfort, maybe experimenting with just coming to the end of that cushion. Now you may notice from the side, this is naturally supporting the curvature of the spine, the four curves in the spine. And it's a downward slope. Now from here, I'm going to grab some pillow here. Wanting to be placing hands, palms down or all palms up. Either way, whatever supports you, or it could be hands down, as long as it doesn't cause any discomfort. Some people use a folded blanket or yoga mat. So whatever can support you. What's helpful to keep in mind is the top of the head. If there's a straight line that goes down top of the head, it goes right through your body. So now the straight line is not going through my body, leaning back. Now it's not going through my body. Wanting to have a straight back. Natural again. We're not forcing like straight back, just a comfortable straight back. By the way, if you're finding these tips useful, feel free to like, share, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. And you can also take a look at the links below for additional videos and upcoming events. Okay, so here we are, the placement of the hands, exploring whatever supports you, head resting between the shoulders. You can even slightly be tucking the chin in and experimenting with a comfortable softening of the body, yet uprightness. So we're not slouching in here, and we're also not just rigid sitting like, oh, I have to hold this. Just a comfortable, relaxed, upright posture. The next option is using a cushion, or what's called, you may have seen one of those, whether in studio you've gone to, meditation center or yoga studio. These are called zafu. Zafu basically is a round cushion, and it's often associated with Japanese Zen, but it has many origins, including China. So if you think of it like this, it's just a round cushion. The nice thing about these is they support a lifting of the hip, and this is very necessary for me, as I'm not flexible, as you already saw. Now this is still not enough. I will need to build like a little tower, and I'll show you some options. But I want to point to something in terms of legs. Sometimes people cross their legs far in front of them, right? Just like this. Might be too far. And that puts right away, I feel pressure here on my knees. Not comfortable at all. So you can use your hands to tuck in your shins. And lifting, and you'll see right now, still my knees are higher than my hips. So I'm going to be lifting in the moment. But I tell you, over the years, doing retreats, I had to play with, how do I reduce this shakiness in my, in my hip? And putting blocks on the side or putting pillows that can take the support of your knee. So something like this is supportive, just like that. Because it doesn't look like it, but the knee and the thigh, they carry some weight. So they'll be pulling and putting pressure on your posture. So that's something to consider if it supports you. Okay, let's explore now raising it. How do we raise it? Whichever way you want, but keeping in mind creating an angle is helpful. So let's see over here. I typically build a little tower, and I'll show you some options. You can use another cushion like this, and you can place a pillow or another cushion like that, and then adding on top right over there. This has more of a height, and it will support a downward angle. So this is a little more comfortable for me. If it's too high, it's actually, I like to have this one on top first. Right now I just felt my back was curved too much. This is not, doesn't feel comfortable actually. So what I typically do is just this one. For my body, but for you it might be the Zafu that's round. For me, this is more comfortable as an angle. Oh yeah, this is what's comfortable for me. So even if it's a little bit of a downward angle, this creative lift just supports your posture. And then all the other principles of ensuring we have a straight line, top of the head, through the body, shoulders resting, head between the shoulders, and placement of hands. These principles are the same. So this is the cushion option. Are you ready for the next one? The next one, when I discovered it, I was like, oh, so glad I discovered that one. So let's go to the next one. The next one is a fun one. Okay, here we go. This one is using a bolster or a cushion or a pillow. And I'm going to move this to the side here. It's as if you're riding a horse. So you can be placing that between your legs. And I picked a big bolster. So I picked a big bolster for my height. Oh, this is comfortable. I'm going to go to the side so you can see that. Here it is. It's a little pony, right? And it is fitting because our mind drifts just like a horse. Gone. You're like, oh, mind, where did you go? So this is just the right height. I'm not feeling pressure right now on my knees. There's a downward incline. There's a natural slight tilting of the pelvis, so I'm not like curving back, maintaining the integrity of this mountain that we've built. And you're using the principles in all the different positions, the uprightness. And like before, you can be using a pillow, resting hands, any way you wish if it's comfortable. Okay, you can also use a cushion. Now, for me, it's not as comfortable to do this sitting position on, so because of my height. So you'll see, you can use a pillow, right? Here it is. It's not as comfortable. Maybe the first 10 minutes of the meditation will be fine, but 20, 30 minutes into it, not so great. I want to share with you one more combination. I discovered it in the middle of a retreat, and when I did, it felt like the clouds parted. I'm like, oh, how did I not discover this before? So it showed me how experimenting with options on different days can be really helpful. So let me show you what I did. I grabbed a stool like this, which is actually was balanced specifically, and my cushion, and then I adjusted it, and we're back to the pony ride. Here it is. Look at that. And then you can adjust if it's a pillow anyway, so you can still have the incline, you're not leaning back. All the principles remain the same. And here it is. So all these different combinations, options, they're available to you to explore. Let me know how it goes. Feel free to write in the comment section below which combination have you explored from the video today, or what was useful for you. And if you found these tips helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. You can also check out the links to videos and upcoming events. Thank you for watching. May your moments be filled with ease, and may you be present with as many of them